This scene is wild, yo. Just for a quick recap, Peter throws a lunch tray at Flash by accident, Peter leaves the cafeteria, Flash follows him to fight. Okay, so the first thing wrong with this fight, before we even get to the bonkers shit Peter just did, is we gotta look at Flash. That is a murder attempt. 95 out of 100 people are getting hit by that. He was directly behind him and did not know Peter had spider sense. The most any regular person would be able to do at most is they jump a little, considering Flash did make a sound, but they would not get enough time to turn around, see what noise that was, process the situation, and then react fast enough to evade. That fist was a loaded weapon that was already out of the holster and airborne by the time he even made a noise. Dog, the level of damage you'd receive from a guy that clearly works out, pinging your skull into a metal locker with a force strong enough to bend the door would be ridiculous. This man was trying to give Peter the CTE special because he got hit with unblended Gerber jar ingredients. Next, Peter is easily dodging extremely fast punches, but I guess Flash is just, I don't know, too angry to notice that most kids shouldn't be able to do that, especially this one. I want y'all to imagine what that would look like in real time. One of those fast punches I just talked about, and dude just dodged, watched the fist go past him, looked back at you, back at the fist, and then tracked it with his eyes again back to stance. I don't care how angry you are, I am walking away immediately after witnessing that if I am Flash. And obviously Peter is Spider-Man at this point, so him doing that isn't the problem. Their non-reaction or underreaction to all this shit is the crazy part. Peter then dodges a behind attack again, but decides to not only casually leap an inhuman height to dodge it, but to also double backflip in the process. Look at these reactions, yo. I've seen more enthusiasm from regular backflips. No reaction from this dude. I guess he's just, I don't know, depressed or something. And this guy got his arms folded like this entire thing is a holographic training simulation he set up for Peter to prepare him for future threats, or like he's studying the technique so he could replicate it. I hear the oohs and ahs, and one girl even says, but that is not enough for what he just did. That is wild. Look at that air. He almost touched the goddamn ceiling and dog still wants to fight him. Eugene Flash Thompson could have the anger of a Zora and it still shouldn't be enough for him to ignore that. Man saw that and was still like,
it's all yours, man.
This is the only dude with some sense, and even still, that's an underreaction to what just happened. Flash decides to go even harder and send a flurry of punches Peter's way. With each punch comes psychotic levels of torque and speed behind them. He still has no idea Peter's durable enough to even take these shots that are all aimed at his skull, by the way. Another murder attempt, but whatever, right? Peter dodges it all, and still, nobody's clued in that something's off about that, considering a teenager just moved at the speed of Muhammad Ali, a professional boxer. He catches Flash's fist and clobbers him hard enough to deliver him to about the halfway point of a high school hallway. Do you remember when you were in school how long those hallways were? Really put yourself in the shoes of your past self and imagine that hallway length. Now imagine a grown man flying half that length. Most adults couldn't punch a medicine ball down that distance. And how did this crowd move fast enough to even dodge this? What is going on here?
Jesus, Parker, you are a freak.
That's your reaction? And this girl's in the background nodding her head like, yep, that's exactly what I thought would happen. Like, are y'all serious? Everyone should be bug-eyed and screaming right now. And just real quick, I want to go back to this scene. two things I noticed watching this back.
Who is this nigga?
That's definitely not Tobey Maguire. And why did Harry get so zesty right here? What is good with this nigga, yo? But back to the punch. This dude is laid out. Like, how is he not dead, fam? Did this nigga get bit by a radioactive cannonball, bruh? Like, what type of durability do you got? And you also know he got hit hard, because look at Peter's expression, yo. You ever strike a dude so hard, you close your eyes screaming? Spider-Man is doing that to him, not a regular dude. I cannot believe what I am looking at. When have you ever seen this Spider-Man do this to any of the supervillains he's fought, let alone a regular dude? The crazier part of all this isn't even the fight, it's after the fight. The split second Spider-Man became a thing, swinging around and performing inhuman feats, an alarm should have went off in everybody at that school's head, and they should have immediately made the connection. Especially the ones who saw him dragging the tray with a web before the fight. Keep in mind, Spider-Man, when he shows up, is the only superhuman on the entire planet as far as we know, and he just so happens to reside in the same exact state you went to school out of everywhere in the world he could have been? Come on, son. It taking until the end of the second movie for both Mary Jane and Harry to figure it out, and that only being the case when he unmasked himself in front of them, is beyond ridiculous, yo. And one last thing, speaking of underreactions, I also find it funny just how nonchalant this black dude is about falling to his death at the hands of the Green Goblin. Like, this man does not care one bit about them kids. He's just looking around, no reaction, don't care about nothing. Now that's funny.